Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, hi. Let me get Ezlyn on so we can get started. Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing very well. How are you?
Awesome, I'm fabulous. Yeah, still in that high energy all week. I don't know. Can't explain it, but it is what it
That's,
is.
that's amazing.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us today and being on this amazing, amazing show. It's funny, I started this a couple of weeks ago, and I've been thinking about what am I going to even call the show? Is it even a show? Is it even something I want to keep doing? But I think I'm going to keep doing it. And I think it's, I have a name that I'm playing around with, but thank you for honoring my invitation and being here with us today.
No, thank you for the invite. I know the couple of chats that we have shared has been so juicy and so interesting. So I feel very honored to be here and actually share a bit more, with my story, with your
Yes.
audience as well. And so thank you so much for your invite to come into
Awesome,
the space.
awesome, awesome. So, for those who are joining us, today's topic is all about love not being this straight line, not being this linear path as we've been led to believe. And, if you haven't met me before, Joan, elite dating coach, I help affluent women find love, find true love, real love, not what we've been sold in the fairy tales. And so, if that is something that you're interested in, you have come to the right place. And with me today, I have the amazing Ezlyn. I'll leave her to introduce herself and then we'll get started with the show.
Okay, wonderful. Hi, everyone. My name is Ezlyn Olivia Barends. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, currently in Amsterdam at the moment, and I am a transformational coach and advisor to visionary leaders. I help leaders unlock their next level genius into the world.
Amazing. And look, anyway, we're going to get into some of the conversations today, but maybe let's just get started. And I think I want to go back to some of the fairy tales, some of the stories that we were told about love. And I know that today we're talking about love, but it's life in general, right? We've been sold this template of how life is supposed to happen. And what is happening is a lot of people are going through life and feeling very frustrated and very disappointed because they're looking at their life, they're looking at the storybook, it doesn't fit, it doesn't match because we've been sold this. You're born, you go to school, you become 21, you meet Mr. Wonderful, you get married, you live happily ever after. Yeah, newsflash, we're not told that 75% of people, well, that's not going to be the path that they're going to be on. And for even those who maybe they did get married to the love of their lives at 21, it's never just this easy journey where everything is just all rosy, hunky-dory, it's all sunshine and rainbows. It's not really that. So what are your thoughts around that narrative that we've been sold about how life is supposed to be, how love and relationships are supposed to be, and what are some of your own personal experiences? Because I got shitloads. Like, I'm the queen of heartbreak. So I've got lots and lots of stories about that. But what has been your own experience, and what was the story that you were sold as a child?
Yeah, Joan, and just to put the context out there, so in October, I turned 40, so have been alive for 40 years. And I totally hear you, Joan. Like when we were little or growing up, or what you saw in the movies, there was a very like particular one line, straight line story that was like sold to us. But what I have experienced and discovered and seen around me is that everybody's life path and love path is so unique. And the more you actually honor your own vibe, your own pace, your divine timing, your own process, the more you actually align with a love path that is meant for you. Because oftentimes we put so much pressure on ourselves, right? We need to be married by this time, or if we get married and we get divorced, or we get engaged and we're too scared to call off a wedding, and like all these things because of the pressures that we receive from society. But the more unapologetic you get about who you are and the uniqueness of who you are and actually just follow your own path, I find that you can find more joy and satisfaction in that process. I always say that You know, you are as unique as your fingerprint. So why live your life like anyone else? Everything in your life is supposed to be uniquely yours. And so I've just come to accept the truth. The more I've accepted the truth, the more I'm actually just enjoying my journey. And I am with you, sister. I'm also all about the heartbreaks and the lessons and the like, oh my goodness. But I love my journey now and I love my path. And I can just see how this is the right way for me, as an example.
I love what you said about being unique. And I think, like for me, I love being unique. I've always thought I was different. And so I've always embraced my uniqueness from when I was a child. But for a lot of people, it scares them. Like people don't want to be unique. They want to be part of the collective. They want to be part of the norm. No, let's all be this way, this certain way, because it's
Mm-hmm.
comfortable, right? I don't stand out. I don't stick out like a sore thumb. So it's safe to
Mm-hmm.
be unseen, to not be unique, to not feel like I'm different, right? But what I'm hearing you say today is we are unique, whether you like it or not. The sooner you embrace your uniqueness, the easier, because now you're on the path of alignment. So life will start to unfold the way it's supposed to happen for you, because we are as unique as your fingerprints, like you said. So what would be your advice for people who are still like, this whole uniqueness thing, I don't really want it. Why can't I just have the fairy tale life? Why can't things just unfold for me in the way that we were told to believe it is? It's safer. I don't want to be unique. What would be
Mm.
your advice to them today? Because those are the people who struggle with the journey. So those are the people who they'll be divorced and will still be pretending to be married. Those are people who are miserable in their relationships. Like, no, no, the norm is relationships are hard. Relationships are not for enjoyment. I'm supposed to endure it. It's painful. Nobody else is happy anyway. So I'm just gonna stay there. So what's your message for those people today about
Yeah.
being unique and embracing this path?
Yeah, look, it's very true that most people will prefer safety and comfort and they don't want to ruffle feathers and all of that. And there definitely are, you know, people out there. And if that works for you, then go with that because it's
And
like
it's not
not
working for them.
not
It's
you know,
not.
it's not, but that's the thing. It's like you pick your battles in life. You pick your challenges in life. And some people are like, yo, I don't feel like standing out. I don't feel like doing differently. I'm gonna settle for this challenge as an example. It takes people who are willing to walk through life courageously to make a change or to make a step or to be like, I'm not happy with being dissatisfied in my life, you know, so I'm willing to step out on my own. I'm willing to do the inner work. I'm willing to, I don't know, be laughed at as an example, you know? And it's very few people here and there. And that's why it also takes, you know, like shows like you're doing and all of the work that you're doing, Joan, to share different perspectives and so forth. Because I think, you know, with people, the more we actually hear stories of other people or see examples, it actually awakens something, you know, in people. And they're like, actually, I actually can't live like this anymore. Or actually, if she could do it, I could do it. If I can walk away from this, you know, marriage or relationship that is not healthy for me. So it's so important that if you are one of those people who are called onto a more bold path, is to walk that path brightly and confidently so that you can shine that light for others and be an example for others. Everybody's going to come at their own pace. Some people will live their entire life with not making those decisions, sadly. But you know, we gotta show the way. We gotta shine our light bright so that we can also inspire others along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we talk about, because I want to talk about some of those misconceptions around, things that happen in life looking like setbacks, or you're not making those changes because you think I just want to make this choice and just stay where I'm at. The truth is your greatness is on the other side of everything you're afraid of, right? That's, you can say I don't want to, but then you will always be at a particular level. You would never be able to step into that highest version of yourself if you're too afraid. Oh, I don't know what it'd be unknown, or what are people going to say? I don't want people to judge me. I just want to stay here. I don't want to ruffle feathers. I just want to maintain the status quo. The only person that you're hurting is yourself.
Mm.
Minus the fact that you're robbing the rest of the world, you're robbing us of your greatness. Like, I don't want your mediocreness. I want your greatness. Step into that already. Like, please stop starving us of your greatness. Okay, but the reality is, everything you're looking for, that true fulfillment, that true joy, that true love for yourself, because if you truly do love yourself, you will make the right decisions for yourself. The same
Mm-hmm.
advice you would give a best friend, give yourself that advice today and stop being afraid about what people will say. Your journey is unique to you. Stop comparing with other people. Oh, but this person got married at 21. Oh, but this person was married for 25 years. Or this person, it doesn't matter. What do you want? What does that look like for you? And be bold enough to step into it, because the moment you step into it, you find that most people don't even care.
Exactly. And Joan, I love what you said is that the greatness really, it stands on the other side of working through, your comfort zones or
Yeah.
discomfort zones, being willing to get uncomfortable because, like, particularly if you want a relationship that is deeply fulfilling or self-fulfilling and all the things that you want, it takes work to get there. And if I look at previous versions of myself, there was a level of like almost like emotional depth that I couldn't get to in my previous relationship. So it was kind of stunted. And how do you grow a relationship like that? Yet, if I didn't have that issue, I wouldn't have worked on that issue and I wouldn't have opened up and grown in such a different way. I remember, in my previous single days, and I remember all of my girlfriends, we were all single, and we were all like, oh, men are so emotionally unavailable and talking about all these things. And something hit me so hard the one day. And I remember I saw this post or this quote saying something along the lines of like, if you are complaining about an emotionally unavailable man, are you emotionally available to yourself?
Oof.
And that hit me so hard because I realized, and and you know this as well, Joan, working with affluent and ambitious women, is that we are so used to like working hard, getting things done, having our stuff all together and so forth. But are we truly emotionally available ourselves? When we are feeling sad, do we allow ourselves to cry? When we are feeling anger, can we process that anger in a healthy way? And so forth. And so, that took self work, it took inner work, it took getting radically honest with yourself. And again, but working through that then puts you on the other spectrum where you are able to attract a really great relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Mara's saying the same things. Your relationships help you grow. I really love what you're saying, because that I think that's the biggest challenge that people don't see. A relationship that doesn't work out or doesn't end well is not a setback. That's your catalyst for growth. That is how you grow. That is how you step into the higher version of yourself. Because if everything is just, oh, we don't fight, we don't argue, we don't strike, you're just at this level, and we're not playing at this level anymore. That's just, no, we're meant to grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. It's really that simple. So stop looking at your past relationships as, oh my God, it was a failure. I failed. I made a mistake. You did not make a mistake. You decided to be with that person at that level because that's where you were at. So now, the more you spend time with someone, the more you're triggered, the more your demons are awakened, then you're like, oh shit, this is something I need to work on. This is a reflection of an area in me that maybe I haven't healed from. Maybe it's not even your trauma. Maybe it's your freaking parents' trauma that you've
Yeah.
carried on. And now it's like, shit, I need to heal. I could talk about my parents' trauma forever. We'll leave that for another day. But some of that we carry with us, and now this new partner, is triggering you so that you can grow. So stop pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, he did me wrong," or "She did me wrong." They helped you to see parts of you that you needed to heal from, parts of you that you needed to work on. It could be something like what you're saying. Maybe you're not even emotionally available. Maybe you don't know how to be vulnerable. Maybe you don't know how to share. Maybe you're all about me, 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 me. Maybe there are things about you that you haven't healed from, right? So the partner is there to help you grow, to push you, to stretch you. And when it ends, just say thank you. Thank you for showing me that part of myself. Thank you for showing me that maybe I deserve more. Maybe now I've grown to a level where you are no longer a fit for where I am or where I want to go. And that's A-okay. But be thankful. Don't be bitter about it.
Yeah.
Just say thank you. And like, shit, this is the next version of me unlocked. Let's go meet a partner that is now fitting at this level.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I could talk forever. Okay, let me just
Yeah.
see. Even the strongest women self-abandon in the pursuit of making a relationship work. Yep,
Mhm.
yep, yep. But looking at the movie backwards after a breakup is a push to go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So let's talk about now. So we talked about everybody's journey is unique. Everybody's different. The way it looks for you, for me, for the next person, your sister, it doesn't matter. It's different.
Mhm.
It's unique to you. Whatever you've been through is supposed to help you to grow, right? To prepare you for the next level, to prepare you for what it is that you're looking for. It is not a straight line. Sometimes you even heal and then you go back and then you heal some more and then you go 50 steps backwards and then you heal. So it's not this straight line journey. It's kind of like, you
Yeah.
keep going down, up and
Kind
down,
of like this.
and you keep growing. So now I want to move on to, okay, so for people who are like, okay, I want to go on this journey of self-discovery, awareness, healing, whatever you want to call it. I want to do better. I want to be able to be in alignment on the path that's right for me. How can they get started in discovery? Because it all starts with you. You need to know yourself. How can they get on this journey of discovering who they are so that they can step into that alignment and be able to have the life and the love that they're looking for?
Yeah. And on my journey, I've always been on this personal development path, spiritual development path. So I love all the tools, all the things, and particularly when it came to like my love life, because that was an area that I felt just wasn't sorted. I was constantly working, always working on my love life and my relating ability, and did many different manifestation courses and deep psychology work
Okay.
and all the tools. And I must say it's a mixed bag of so many different personal development tools. Yet one of the frameworks that I absolutely love is the Gene Keys, which is a tool for self-discovery, for self-awareness, for evolution, elevation, and transformation. So if you are wanting to become a better version of yourself, this is a tool that can support you to get there. What I love about this tool, right, is like I mentioned, you can do generic love manifestation courses and practices, and those do work. Gene Keys gives you your unique codes. It shows you where you need, specifically where you need healing, emotional healing, and an opening of your heart so that you can actually attract according to your uniqueness, like I said.
Mhm.
Now, everyone obviously has different challenges in life. We all have different purposes. We all have different gifts. And in that same way, the Gene Keys addresses you as a person, how you grew up, certain things that contributed to your life, how you view the world, anywheres where you have held blocks around your heart, and it takes you on a journey to really do deep self-discovery and healing in the emotional space so that you can open up to love. And now, whether you are single or whether you are in a relationship, it also helps you deepen in your relationships with others. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, because it gives you the language to name, some of the things that you are going through, to be able to communicate, some of those things with others, to ask for what you need, to set healthy boundaries. And so all of that supports you in actually attracting or deepening into a relationship that is connected to your soul, the deeper truth of who you are, not from your mind and what you think you want, but from who you are at a heart and soul level. So
Mhm.
that is one of the tools that I have been working with over the last 4 years. And specifically, initially, I was working on this tool for my purpose, for unlocking abundance. But then I was like, okay, I'm really going to double down on using this tool and this framework for love. And I actually, when I started using it, there's a sequence within the Gene Keys called the Venus sequence. I did it for myself, for self-love, right? Because we know that love starts with ourself. And so unlocking certain parts of myself, going back like into my childhood, teenage years, and working through some of those aspects, and then allowing the inner work, the alchemy, the magic of working with your Gene Keys to, like, bring you the right people.
Hmm. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about Gene Keys, but I want to explain what Gene Keys did for me, and it was in the session with you, Ezlyn, and it was like a sucker punch. It just said to me, Joan, your life will always be in cycles. So for a long time, for people who know me, people who don't know me, I started getting into relationships when I was 12, and between 12 and my current age, which is 45, I've probably been in like 20 different relationships, being proposed to 8 times so far. And it, when people hear my story, it's so easy to judge and just say, what's wrong with you? Why are you so restless? Why can't you just say, oh no, the problem is you. You need to fact at some point. I was told by a religious body that I needed to go for deliverance, because obviously for me to be constantly in this cycle of relationships, it meant that I had a spirit husband that was holding me and keeping me down from getting married. And so for a long time, I struggled with that, because I thought, but we read in the movies, we read in the books that happily ever after, one person, is your Prince Charming, and you just ride away into the sunset. Why is my story different? Why do I have to keep going through this cycle of relationships and relationships and relationships? Pretty much the same thing happened with my parents. My mom, after her divorce, couple of relationships, still single. My dad, been married 5 times, died pretty much alone. And so it's like I've been surrounded by these situations of cycles of relationships starting, stopping, starting, stopping. And I thought maybe the problem is me. Maybe I had a problem. And then doing my Gene Keys reading with you, and I saw it's there. Joan, your life will always be in cycles. And it's the same. I've not been able to hold down a career by choice. I'm in my 8th career in my life right now. So it's the same. My life will always be in cycles. My relationships will always be in cycles. So it might not fit into what society has led us to believe, that it's happily ever after. But once you know your Gene Keys, I'm telling you, it sets you free. It sets you free because the moment you read it at a soul level, it is truth. This is not, oh, for all the people who are born into this family, this is unique to you. This is your own journey. And the more you embrace it, like it really, like honestly, Gene Keys set me free. It just set me free. I'm just now in the process of, I'm just going to step into that alignment of the truth of who I truly am at a soul level, and just let life ride through me. And one of the key things that also came out in my Gene Keys was I needed to celebrate every start and end. But what most people do is when something has ended, like people want you to explain why it's bad that it ended. And I'm just like, no, but it was good. No, but he must be an asshole. Oh my God, I can't believe he let you go. No, but that's not the problem. We were good. I learned a lot. I had a good time. It was great. I've grown. No, because society doesn't understand this start and finish. Life will be in cycles for some people. Maybe some people will meet the love of their life at 16 and be happily ever after, but maybe it won't be the same for you. So Gene Keys saved me. And the this is really recent. This is 2 weeks ago. Like, if read me, I was like, wow, now I understand why it is relationship after relationship, because I need to keep learning. I need to keep growing. It is helping me evolve to the highest version of myself. And it is okay. It doesn't have to align with what society is portraying out there, which again, it doesn't work. 75% divorce rate. Okay, yeah, doesn't really work, but that's the lie of the story or the narrative that we've been sold. So being able to unlock your Gene Keys, and I'm going to get Ezlyn for you to talk to them about how they can start on their own Gene Key journey today so that they can be free. It freed me. Like, I'm not attached to any relationship, any of my past. There was no mistake. Everything happened to help me get to where I am today and where I'm going to, because I'm not done. I'm far from being done. So Gene Keys, how can people get started on their own journey of discovering who they really are and what
Yeah.
their past is?
So I love what you named, Joan, because that's exactly what the Gene Keys gives you. It's like when you know the truth of who you are and you embrace it and you accept it, you're no longer like fighting against who you are, right? Because you're trying to fit into the mold of who the world has told you to be. And what I saw with you in the Gene Key sessions, like you read your stuff and you're like, ah, this is literally how I'm meant to be. And so it gave you like the sense of peace. And like now, knowing what you know now, you can just relax and do you and do your 7-year cycles. And it's okay, instead of maybe sometimes being caught up in a self-sabotaging thinking or being like, why do I have to go through this again? It's no longer something that it hinders you, but it's something that can empower you going forward. So I love that you named that. And so, yeah, with the Gene Keys, you start with a session. You can actually you use your birth chart data, and we actually look at your birth data, the snapshot of when you were born. Your soul holds a lot of information about who you are at a much deeper level. And so that's all the data we would need to get your Gene Keys chart. And then initially we start looking at the activation sequence, which is your higher purpose, your zone of genius, how you are meant to show up into the world. And so oftentimes when people come into Gene Keys, the first point of call is just like, I just want to get a sense of relief in terms of, who am I? What am I meant to bring into this world? What gifts do I have when I walk into a room or a team or a new business? Then when you go deeper, you can go into the Venus sequence, which, as I shared, it's all about emotional healing. It's all about improving love and relationships in your life, all forms of relationships, even, clients, family healing. I've seen family healing being done through studying with your gene keys as well. And then also the final sequence, which is called the Pearl sequence, I call it the prosperity sequence, because it's the qualities that you want to embody and live with if you want to unlock your next level of prosperity. So it's quite a sequence. You can go and buy the Gene Keys book and actually read it on your own. You can read your Gene Keys, you can get your charts and read your Gene Keys, and that has its own potency and power because you can do it at your own pace. Or you can work with a Gene Keys guide like myself that can help you go deeper and actually guide you on how to practically integrate this into your daily life so that you can see your life blossoming and unfolding in a very magical way.
Absolutely. And I'll pop the link to how they can reach out to you so they can get started on the journey for those who want to embark on this journey. Like I said, for me, the Gene Keys really just gave me that liberation, that peace that, wow, Joan, you're not crazy. This is how you were designed way long before you came into this life experience. This is who I've always been, right? And your Gene Keys never change. So whether you look at your gene keys the day you're born or whether you're 90 is the same. I remember when I discovered human design a few months ago, and I shared it with my mom, who's now 78, and she did hers, and she sent me a message, and she said, "Oh my God, this is like me just reading my life backwards.
Mm-hmm.
That everything it says has already happened. So my life was we already have the blueprint of who we're meant to be. The challenge is we struggle. We're constantly fighting it." Right. So if you're tired of the struggle, if you're tired of fighting against the wave because it's deep down inside, you know who you are, but now society is telling you who you should be, how your life should play out, how you should show up in the world. No, Gene Keys helps you to really be in that attunement of this is who I am, this is my uniqueness, this is how I'm supposed to show up. These are the kind of relationships that I'm going to have, because you said something that's very, very key. When you start to grow, when you start to improve yourself, when you start to work on yourself, you attract partners who meet you at that level. So if you're
Yeah.
still in the shadows where you're wearing a mask, where you don't even know who you are, you're still like, oh my God, somebody come and save me, somebody come and love me. Well, we all know that nobody, anyway, it starts with you, right? You can only attract the level of love based on how much you love yourself. You can only attract better partners when you work on yourself. It's not about them. There's nothing to fix out there. The fixing is you, right? And this is a tool that can help you to know who you are, know the areas that you need to work on, get started on that journey. Like, stop looking for someone to save you. Nobody is coming. Start working on that journey. When you start to heal, you start to do better, you start to step into alignment of who you truly are, you will see that the magic will start to happen, right? You will start to attract better partners. You will step into your purpose, whatever business or career you're supposed to be in. You will have amazing friends, not friends who gossip, who backbite, who are jealous of you.
Mhm.
Your life will start to transform in every possible way.
Yeah.
So get your gene keys. It saved me, and I think it can save you too.
Yeah, I love that. So, like, when I actually work with Gene Keys and human design and I bring people into it, I always say, like, this is the huge permission slip to be who you know you are, like, on a deeper level,
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get that, it's like this huge, big, energetic hug of
Yeah.
self-acceptance. Like, okay, I don't have to fight against myself, or I can just be me. And it provides you a path to success based on, like, the least resistance. You can actually lean back and be who you naturally are. And from that place, you can create, like, the love you want, the business you want, the purpose you want, the career that you want, the health, the well-being, and the social circle that you want. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, permission slip. This is your big, big permission. Okay, so maybe before we round up today, maybe what are some tips? I know you've shared that there's many tools out there, but what are some tips for anybody who might be struggling at this point, right? For anybody, is anyone ever been shocked by their jinky? I was shocked by mine, Elmer. I mean, like, look, I was like, in fact, when he said to me, your purpose is to stop worrying about what your purpose is, I'm just like, who thinks that? Like, and that is the kind of shit I would say to myself, right? And so he hit me, and I was shocked. I was like, wow, geez, here we go. Like, my life is never a straight line. It's always this roller coaster of confusion. So I was shocked. And I think for some people, and maybe as you can talk to that, for a lot of people, because we've been conditioned a certain way, we're usually surprised by our jinkies. But at a deeper cellular level, we know it to be true, but it's like, but that's not what the world wants. Like, how am I going to show up as this person? People are going to mock me. They're going to laugh at me. One of the things that my gene keys also revealed to me is that speaking, like communication, is my superpower. And it said, you can never learn it. No one can teach you. It's just open your freaking mouth and the words will come. And I'm like, no, but I've hired many speaking coaches. I've been told you have to speak a certain way. You have to do things a certain way. But I've always known, in truth, my genius in speaking comes from when I don't prepare at all. I've always known that. But they're like, no, you need to write your script. I'm like, write what script? Oh, you need to do. I'm like, do what? Like, what? But the world convinced me that no, you need to write a script. You need to start with a hook, a middle, a yeah. Yes, like just be you, just do you. And my gene keys told me that. It just said, your communication, you can never learn it from anybody. Yes, we're talking about gene keys. Yes, amazing stuff. And it did talk to me about my relationships. I'm one of those people who always said, oh, I want a super masculine man who's gonna. Well, unfortunately, my gene key said I would always be that kind of guide to my partner, because I'm already wired to see things.
Yeah.
So I would always be the one kind of guiding the person. They always lean on me and work with me, but it won't be this competitive relationship. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, so I can just relax and stop following the norm of he has to be a masculine man and make all the decisions and lead and do all of this bullshit that we've been told to believe. Not true. So gene keys, I'm telling you, it saved my life. I'm 1 week into it and I'm just like, wow. I feel so good. I feel so great about where I'm at right now. I'm just leaning into it. I'm like, you know what? Let's roll. Wherever this wants to take me, I'm up for it. Let's just roll with this stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so please relieve me of my ignorance. What is it? Oh my God, we just went. Okay, so just give him
What's the recording?
a one phrase, a one sentence answer on what Gene Keys is and how we can help.
Yeah, so basically, Gene Keys, it's a framework, it's a tool for self-discovery, self-awareness. It helps you to become the highest version of who you are. So it provides you a pathway that shows you where you have blind spots, shadows, challenges, and actually how to overcome it, rise above it, so that you can actually become a better version of yourself. And when you become a better version of yourself, you can use that to attract relationships, success, create your life, your career from that space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just a final food for thought for people. So people who might be struggling, because again, this journey is not an easy journey. And I don't even think anybody, I've been in personal development for a long time, but the truth is, sometimes I wish like, geez, ignorance is actually bliss. Like, why did I have to get into all of this stuff? It's just too much. The more I learn, the more I know I don't know shit. Right. So what would you say to people who might be thinking, you know what, my life is okay right now, right? It's not great. I'm not happy, but I'm also not unhappy. I'm not going after any dreams, or I have no dreams, and maybe it's okay. Maybe I'm on my way to getting a pension when I'm 65 and doing whatever retired 65-year-olds who didn't do shit with their life. I don't know what they do, but okay, those folks. Or maybe someone is in a relationship where they know they're not happy, right? But I don't want to ruffle the feathers. What advice do you have for people who may be struggling, who might be sitting on the fence right now thinking, I don't know this jinx. I don't want to step over the wall. Like, let me just stay here. Like, I'm not happy, but I'm okay too.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the thing is that if something is not showing up in your life, in your external reality, it's because there's something within you that could be blocking it, or something that needs to be shifted within yourself. And usually that is subconscious programming, it is, nervous system, old beliefs. And you can work through that. And like we said at the beginning of the conversation, is like everything that you want or desire or would want to change, it starts with personal development and growth. One thing I found that has really, really helped me is like really seeing others and seeing my life as a mirror for what is going on in myself. So if there's something that, a friend or someone does that triggers me, or that I don't like, before I even go and address it with them, I kind of address it with myself first. And I'm like, okay, what is it within me that's kind of, getting this response or getting this reaction and so forth. And people will always treat you based on how you feel and think of yourself. So it always starts with this self-concept and how you actually feel about yourself. So instead of pointing fingers at the other person and being like, you did this and all of that, it's like actually come back to yourself, shift your perspective, shift something within yourself, and you will actually notice that the other person treats you the way that you want to be treated. So instead of like putting blame or shame on someone else, use it as an opportunity to like, whoa, what is this mirroring back towards me? What do I need to shift within myself in order to get a different response or a different action back? So yeah, I love this idea of mirrors. It helped me quite a lot because if I look at how I showed up in previous relationships, being like triggered or blaming the other person, now I'm just like, okay, if this is something that maybe I don't agree with or so forth, before I lash out, I can look at myself and be like, okay, what do I need to shift within myself first? Can I be more understanding? Can I be more open-minded? Can I express this with more kindness? And so the more you actually work on yourself in that regard, like you said, actually, Joan, you're going to attract better, you're going to receive better. So if you want something different in your life, something different within you has to change. And so it does always start with your own personal development.
Yeah, absolutely. And the victim mindset, like, it's common because it's comfortable. It's easier to blame external, right? Nobody is really comfortable looking in the mirror. Like even if you just take a mirror, like if you stare at the mirror for 5 minutes, you start to get uncomfortable. So we're very uncomfortable naturally looking at mirrors and being able to do that deeper introspection to say, what is it about me that is creating this in my reality? Because it starts and ends with you, right? For a lot of people are saying, oh, but I want that everlasting love. That do you really love yourself? Because really, if you're only attracting narcissists, you're only attracting emotionally unavailable people, you're only attracting people who treat you like crap, there's something about you that is attracting those kind of people. And that's the work that a lot of people don't like to do. It's like, no, but, no, you. Why are you attracting those kind of people? Why are you attracting people that don't respect you? People that don't honor you? They don't honor your boundaries, right? They don't want to grow with you. They hide things from you. There's something about you, aware or unaware, conscious or unconscious. There's something about you that is creating that in your reality. And the moment you start to say, okay, hang on a minute, I'm going to go take time. Let me think about this for a minute. Why am I attracting this kind of people? Why is this, especially if there's a pattern, because there usually is. If you look at your last 5 relationships, you can draw a straight line.
Yeah.
If you're really honest with yourself, there's always a pattern. So rather than thinking that all men are crap and they've all ganged up to come and destroy you, like you're not that important, first of all, but okay. Stop thinking that they're planning to destroy you or they had it all, in for you from day one. No, there's something about you that is making that happen. So go and do the inner work, right? The moment you start working on yourself, you start doing that deep introspection, things will start to shift. Like I said, there was a lot of trauma from my parents, not my issues, my parents' issues that I carried into my adulthood. And that was showing up. I'll be triggered based on something that happened with my parents. It was not my problem to carry from in any way, but I was reacting to that. And so when I started to do the work and some of this stuff started to come up, I was like, shit, like how can I be even suffering for something else that has nothing to do with me, aka my parents, right? So do the work, make sure you're taking the time, you're not pointing fingers, you're not looking externally. Do the work. If you want to attract greatness, please go be great. It's really that simple. Don't be like, okay, who's the next person? Who's the next person? Yes, you can learn how to go on dates and all those skills, but it's not going to find you that deep fulfilling love that you're looking for until you've done the inner work. So get started on that journey today. And I think that would be the biggest message. Minus, go get your gene keys because honestly, just save yourself the headache. Stop trying to talk to people about who you are. Go and discover for yourself who you are. And the gene keys is one of the keys, one of the ways for you to unlock that in a simple way where you would read it and you will know that this is truth. This is not what was written. Let's not talk about some books. This is not what was written by somebody 50,000 years ago. This is truth. This is everlasting truth. Once you know your gene keys, once you can sit down with yourself and be honest about where you're at, what is really happening. Am I really happy? Is this really the life that I envisage for myself? Is this what I want? have those deep conversations and start doing the work. Get doing the work. Hire a coach. Do whatever. You know, go to Ezlyn. Ezlyn explains to me why jinkies are. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get beat up? Even if you're having toxic friends, it's a sign. If you hate your job, if your boss hates you, that's a sign. If things don't work out for you, bad things keep happening, you get a flat tire every day. These things are all signs that something is in misalignment. So you can get started on that journey for yourself this 2025.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me say. I get that, but how does that work on recovering from domestic abuse?
Yeah, I would actually love to answer this because I have experience in this. And I was 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I was engaged to someone who actually we were it was a very codependent relationship, very toxic. And so I was engaged to someone who actually turned out to be abusive. And I'll be the first one to say that I do not blame any woman for not being able to walk away because there's such a psychological breakdown that happens within your self-esteem, that makes you think that you won't be able to survive if you are to leave that relationship. So I understand that part, and it took me long to actually heal and recover from that trauma. And I remember as I was going through the healing process, I got to this point where, of course, like a good Christian woman and so forth, I was doing this, forgiveness and doing that over and over again. But I got to a point where I was like, you know, I wasn't really like forgiving him for what happened or healing what he did to me. I was healing the part of me that attracted that into my life because I was like, this is very interesting, based on my upbringing and so forth. I had no tendency or there was no inclination that would ever show that I would land up in a relationship like this. However, it did. However, years on now, I can see how that relationship, as hard as it was, as difficult as that experience was, it actually set me on my awakening journey, on me getting onto my true path in life. Because while I was in that relationship, yes, I was working a job and I had a social circle and I had a life that looked good on the outside, but deep down, my soul wasn't fully satisfied. My soul knew that I was here to do like more and to experience a different type of life. And I was settling. I actually was settling in my life. And so, coming out of that relationship, I got onto this awakening path. I learned more about myself. I learned about human design. I learned about gene keys. I had spiritual gifts that started coming online, becoming more intuitive. I started being healthier. I started looking after myself. And I healed the part of myself that was closed off and not vulnerable. Because before, as I said, like previous versions of myself, I didn't know how to open up. I didn't know how to get to a certain level of depth with a man. But because I'd been through that experience, I could develop compassion and empathy and emotional availability to myself. So not the nicest part, not the easiest path, but realize that things in your life, it happens for a reason. And if you can use that reason to actually empower you and be like, okay, right, that's what I've been through. I'm going to heal myself now. And in that healing journey, you will see how much you transform and how beautiful your life can actually be, far more beautiful than what it would have been if you had stayed on that path or even before that. So sometimes it does take challenges in our life to actually elevate us to a new plane.
I would dare say all the time. Nobody gets through life without trauma. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that it's fun. It doesn't mean that it's an enjoyable process. But for a lot of people, that is the awakening moment. That is the point that sets you on the path to your greatness. Because if
Yeah.
everything is just comfortable, if everybody in the world is just nice, if everybody is just doing what they should be doing, then we're not growing. Why are we here? Why do we exist? So sometimes these things which we label as bad, they're not enjoyable, but they are actually the catalyst to set you on the path to your true self, to your true greatness.
Mm-hmm.
So go through the healing. It's never fun. It's very painful, right? I come from a family where my mom was physically abused by my dad. Like, we saw it. He would sucker punch this woman and beat her up and choke her, and like, we saw all of this growing up. And I know how that set me on a path of, just like you, I was really closed off. and I'll be in all these relationships, but I just always knew that one day you're going to do something and I'm going to have to leave, because that's what I saw growing up, right? And I was like, one day you're going to become my biggest enemy. You're going to try to kill me. You're going to try to steal my money. You're going to, like, I have all those stories in my head. Like, so being able to heal from that and just say, okay, you know what, this is a lesson. It wasn't even my lesson. I had my own personal lessons, but my parents' lesson wasn't my lesson to learn. But I kind of just absorbed this, and it dictated a few of my relationships after that. So these things happen to unlock that thing within you that is setting you on the path of your purpose, of why you came to this existence and what role you're supposed to play. And I know for me personally, my challenges in relationships is what led me to become a dating coach. Mm-hmm. Even though I could have read my Gene Keys 5 years ago and seen that, because my Gene Keys actually says that. And I was like, okay, shit, well, I'm already in it, so it just proved that I'm on the right path. But I've struggled with relationships, and every relationship, if I'm being honest, has been better than the previous one. It has led me to love even deeper. Like, I've received deeper levels of love I didn't think was possible. I didn't hear I love you growing up as a kid. We didn't use those language in my household. So I love you, yucky, icky, no thanks. But with everybody I've been in a relationship with, I find that the next person loves me more than the previous person. I'm like, shit, I didn't know this level of love was possible. Wow, is it really possible for somebody to want to take a bullet for me? Is it possible? And even though, yes, some of the relationships ended not so nicely, but honestly, I think those things have pushed me more on this path than ever. And that's why I'm able to guide a lot of women who might be struggling. You just end in a relationship, or you end in a divorce, and now you're like, I want to get back out there. How do I get back out there? How do I close that chapter? How do I move on? It's based on the cycles that I've gone through in my life. And knowing that this is my purpose and my journey, it just makes it easier. Like, I'm not fighting it anymore. Like, I'm just going to keep learning for myself personally, and being able to help other women as well who might be on this journey and struggle.
Yeah, exactly, Joan. And I will say, like, so I've got this one gene key, which is like, it's all about going through experiences that shock me to awaken. And so when I found my gene keys after that experience that I'd been to, I was like, oh, okay. And I realized in my life that, okay, at certain points in my life, there were things that happened that like literally shocked me, but it awakened me to a higher plane. So now, knowing that I know that, that I can embrace my life more with an open heart and full acceptance, and be like, oh, okay, this is just a moment for me to now awaken into my next level of greatness, kind of thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Whew, I feel like we've been talking for 10 hours, and I think we could go on for another 10 hours. But I think we're going to wrap it up for here. So let us know in the comments. Like, I'm going to try to post how you can work with Ezlyn to figure out what your gene keys are, so that you can step into the true alignment of your uniqueness and be on that easier path, the path of least resistance, so that life can be enjoyable. Right? We're not here to suffer and struggle and just go through pain. Yes, pain will help you push you to the next level, but there comes a time where you should be enjoying the life you're living. But most importantly, you should be living the life that's designed for you. Not what society said, not what your parents said, not what everybody says things that you should do, not what your pastor said, not what your whoever said. What the life that you were designed to live, the one that is unique to you and is for your soul fulfillment, for your soul growth, for your current experience in this lifetime. So thank you so much, Ezlyn. Thank you. Oh, this was wonderful. I think we could go on forever and ever and ever. So let us know in the comments if you have any struggles, any challenges. Happy to help and support you on this journey of personal development and growth. Any final words you want to live with us today, Ezlyn?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joan. And yeah, the more you take the time to get to know yourself, the easier life becomes, and you get to just navigate challenges, the ups, the highs, the lows, with so much grace in your life. So just want to encourage those out there that if you haven't already taken the step to know yourself on a deeper level, do so, because that's where you actually let the magic unfold in your life.
Absolutely. All love starts with you. So do yourself this favor and love yourself, and be willing and open to go on this journey of self-discovery and awareness. You will be glad you did. Thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing. Well, I will be back same time next week. Please do not ask me what the topic is. I don't know, but I'll be back next week. Thank you, everyone, and have an amazing weekend.
Thank
Thanks, Ezlyn.
you.
Bye.
Bye.